Hello, and welcome to our first Spartan Sports Report show of 2023. I'm Veronica Bolanos.
And I'm AJ Evans. Feels really good to be back in the studio, Veronica, and it's good to cover Spartan sports again, especially with a win against the school down the road. For the first time since 2007, the Michigan State gymnastics team defeated Michigan last week. The Spartans edged the Wolverines with a score of 197.200 to 196.975. MSU is now 3-1. The Spartans will face off against Penn State at Jenison Fieldhouse on Saturday at 7 p.m.
Coming off of a loss against Indiana a week ago, the men's basketball team were looking to rebound at home against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Tom Izzo was looking for a better effort from his guys back on their home floor, and he would get that help from Malik Hall, who came back from a foot injury that kept him sidelined for 3 games. We'll start with Hall, who threw down a thunderous dunk over an Iowa defender. The Breslin and the rest of the Izzone erupted after the dunk, and the Spartans would ride that wave into halftime with a 1-point lead, 30-29. Over to the second half now. Tyson Walker swings it up to Zoe Hauser, who hits the 3, which gave the Spartans a 2-point lead midway through the second half. Walker would then go down with a lower leg injury and hobble over to the bench. But minutes later, he made his way back onto the court and provided a key assist to Jaden Akins, who hit a deep 2 to give the Spartans a 4-point lead with 50 seconds left. The Spartans held on to beat the Iowa Hawkeyes 63-61. Our own AJ Evans and Zach Beavers were on the scene and had more after the game. Guys?
Michigan State returned to the Breslin Center tonight for an electrifying victory that went down to the wire. The Spartans escaped this one with a narrow 63-61 win against the Iowa Hawkeyes. It was a well-balanced attack for MSU tonight, Zach. 5 guys scored in double figures, led by sophomore Jaden Akins, who recorded 12 points. But arguably the storyline of this game was the return of Malik Hall.
That's true, AJ. Malik played 25 minutes, which is more what you expect when someone's coming off of a foot injury. Izzo spoke about how he might be a little bit sore after this game, as he hasn't had a lot of movement in it over these last couple of weeks. He had 11 points, part of that balanced attack that the Spartans had, a couple rebounds and assists to throw in it. And overall, he had a calming effect on this team, and Izzo spoke about that after the game.
The Spartans needed every minute of Hall's 25 minutes that they could get. They got off to an incredibly sluggish start. We're down 10-0 to start off the game. Eventually, they went on to recover, especially at the end of the first half, where Malik Hall's dunk certainly gave them some momentum heading into the second. That dunk sent shockwaves through the Breslin Center here.
It was rocking our platform for sure.
It absolutely was. And the Spartans will now head to West Lafayette to take on the Purdue Boilermakers on Sunday afternoon. For Spartan Sports Report, I'm AJ Evans.
And I'm Zach Beavers. Back to you.
After MSU's victory on Thursday, the Spartans traveled to West Lafayette to take on the number 1 ranked Purdue Boilermakers. MSU's only lead of the game came within the first 5 minutes, and Purdue went into halftime with a 40-22 lead. MSU cut the lead to 10 in the second half, but Zach Edey and the Boilermakers proved to be too much, defeating MSU 77-61. The 7'4" Edey recorded a career-high 38 points along with a game-high 13 rebounds. The Spartans are now 14-8 this season and 6-5 in conference play. MSU will now travel to Madison Square Garden to face Rutgers on Saturday at noon.
MSU women's basketball coach Susie Merchant is recovering after a single car crash in the Lansing area. The accident left Merchant in the hospital over the weekend and prevented her from traveling to Champaign with the team. MSU Athletics says Merchant is at home resting as of Monday morning. This week, the team is set to take on Nebraska before coming home to East Lansing to face in-state rivals Michigan.
This past weekend, the Spartans traveled to Minneapolis to face the Golden Gophers. The series may shape the rest of the season for the green and white. Spartan Sports reporters Yusuf Anaya and Elisa Luker have more from the newsroom.
AJ, Veronica, thank you guys so much. The Michigan State hockey team has created a lot of buzz in East Lansing. Michigan State is coming off a high after securing a win in overtime and a win in a shootout against Penn State. They look to continue that momentum this past weekend as they face Minnesota, who is arguably the best team in the country. That begins a sprint to the finish with a 2-game series ahead at home against Notre Dame, at home and in Detroit against Michigan, and then at Wisconsin to wrap up the regular season. After a 12-23-1 overall record last season, the Spartans have their eyes on the prize.
But let's talk about that series against Minnesota. It was a tough matchup for MSU as Minnesota was ranked 2nd in the country, and it turned out to be pretty similar to the first time they played back in East Lansing in early December. Minnesota beat Michigan State 8-0 in the first game and 6-3 in the second game, completing a 4-game season sweep of MSU. Michigan State is now 13-13-2 overall and 7-9-2 in the Big Ten.
This past weekend allowed the Gophers to extend their commanding lead in the Big Ten to 16 over the teams in second place. And with the help of their 27-1 record and the massive amount of NHL prospects on the roster, they find themselves back on top at number 1, while the Spartans drop down a couple of spots in the rankings to number 17.
We're also at that point in the season where pairwise rankings are starting to matter. In short, pairwise is an advanced metric that combines record, strength of schedule, and head-to-head records to rank every team in college hockey. The NCAA gives 6 automatic bids to the winner of each conference tournament. After that, the 10 remaining spots go to the schools with the highest pairwise rating.
Michigan State's fate is very much in limbo. Realistically, the Spartans can finish anywhere between 3rd and 6th in the Big Ten. If they finish 4th or better, however, then Munn Ice Arena will host postseason hockey for the first time since Big Ten hockey began in 2013. So these last couple of games will be very crucial for the Spartans to gain some ground.
For the first time in a long time, MSU also has reason to pay attention to the pairwise rankings. The Spartans sit at number 16 right now, putting them on the bubble. If they don't win the conference tournament, then they will need an at-large bid to make the NCAA tournament.
The Spartans will return home this weekend to face Notre Dame, who is number 20 in the country, at Munn Ice Arena. Last time these two teams met in South Bend, they split the series. Notre Dame won the first game handedly 5-0, and then Michigan State went on to win the second game in a shootout. Michigan State will also honor its senior class this Saturday. Back to the desk with AJ and Veronica.
The MSU wrestling team took on Maryland last week in search of their first conference win. After a 3-match road trip, the Spartans returned to Jennison Fieldhouse to take on the Terrapins Friday night. Opening match for MSU, Braxton Brown and Spartan Tristan Lujan facing off in the 125-pound division. Here's Brown getting the takedown on Lujan, and the Terrapin wins 4-1. Now moving forward to 18th-ranked Rayvon Foley, securing the takedown against Maryland's Connor Quinn for a major decision. Foley is 10-5 this season and 8-3 in duels. MSU leads 5-3. 13th-ranked Chase Saldate entered Friday's match undefeated in conference play with 4 consecutive victories. Looking to add to that streak, here he is in the 155-pound weight class, getting the big takedown in the first period against Maryland's Kevin Shork. Saldate is 10-1 in duels this season. Staying in the first, Saldate secures the pin for 6 points here. The junior leads the Spartans with 40 duel points this season and is second on the team with 6 pins. Saldate gets his 5th consecutive victory, and MSU gets its first conference win over Maryland, 37-9. On Sunday, the Spartans were defeated by 6th-ranked Ohio State, 36-3. MSU returns home to host Illinois on Sunday at 2 p.m.
That's all the time we have for you today. Make sure to check out our Instagram page and our new TikTok at Spartan Sports Report and watch any of our previous episodes on our YouTube channel. I'm Veronica Bolanos.
And I'm AJ Evans. Thanks for watching.